Hey guys, and welcome to another tutorial by Tutorial Grid. I am your host Matt, and on this tutorial we'll be teaching you mostly 3ds Max this time. But first, why don't you go ahead and click on that subscribe button on our YouTube channel, and then head over and like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/avidproductions479. Like us there to make sure you keep up to date with everything that's going on. Also, check out our friends over at SiteGround. They're going at $3.99, and you can even get a free domain if you start web posting. So if you're looking to have a new portfolio site, I recommend that. Okay, so in this tutorial we will be working on this one's gonna be not quite as difficult, I want to say. Like, it'll be difficult, but it's more understanding that'll be difficult. And the whole reason for this is, I mean, if you go ahead and keep up with us on Twitter and stuff like that, you'll be able to see, like, what we're keeping up with. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you ever get into 3D stuff and you ever keep up with what we're doing and just in general, and, like, you'll realize that, like, even though we have video and stuff like that, I mean, lighting, special effects, all that kind of stuff, it also ties in just as much. Like, it's probably just as important as the modeling and stuff like that. So, I mean, I know in the other tutorials, like, effects and other sorts of things are just extremely important to the whole piece of the puzzle. So, without further ado, we're going to go ahead and talk about our subject. So, what we're making today is an abstract piece. What an abstract piece is, it's more for, like, portraying an idea / portraying a certain image to help, I guess, alleviate, like, thought process. That way you get to kind of just interpret it in your own way, rather than having to directly find things within a picture of subject. So, I mean, and those things, they also take a little bit of, these things take a little bit less time. So I'll be able to get more in depth of why I prefer Maya at the time. But, I mean, well, I do because of modeling, more or less. But this program I actually prefer for lighting and rendering. So that's kind of what we're beginning today. You can model in here. You definitely could. I've done most of my work in here. It's just lately Maya's been 2.0 to me. But, I mean, that's just a personal preference. There's always been the big debate about Maya versus Max and so on and so forth. But anyway, to get into this, like I said, we'll be using, like, we'll be using a lot of understanding rather than actual, I guess, performing, because you need to understand how lights work, and I'll show you each and every one and how they kind of work, and pretty much like how to fancy up your scene, I guess it would be the best way possible. I know I have like 3 or 4 abstract pieces. It just means that you're, like, abstract pieces are not probably what gets you the job. It's icing on the cake. It, like, it's not your chunk of meat, I guess. It's more like that you can show that you're an artist and stuff like that. So I would recommend adding a few of these to your portfolio piece once you start getting ideas of them. The one I'm going to make today is honestly extremely easy to make. Extremely easy. But there's a reason why it's extremely easy. It's extremely easy because we think about it before we do it. So in this way, I'm going to do pretty much like the way you would see a fan, I guess, is the best way to put it. A fan would be, or like, kind of like an industrial type fan, I guess I would say. And then like a sphere in the middle, and then we could put some green lights around it. But I don't know if we're gonna do metal or we're gonna do glass. But I'm thinking like a metal / glass with a blend or something, or maybe just a translucent, or not translucent, transparent metal. Probably go something like that, just to give the idea of the effect of lighting. And then we would probably do any extra effects in Photoshop, but I mean, we could do it in here too. It'll just kind of see how it goes. But anyway, and also because, like I said, this is gonna be so kind of not easy, but it's gonna be less time consuming to do, because it's probably gonna be easy for you because I'm doing all the thinking. But to be less time consuming, I'm gonna talk about how. Okay, one thing I haven't talked about is that a lot of new people run into is that the program crashes like 24/7. So it's best to understand that that's gonna happen. Like, you gotta figure out why. You gotta know your program. It's almost like it really is like you're the engineer of your program. So you gotta figure out, how to fix it and just move on. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and make a box. Now, you can make a plane, but I would recommend a really thin box for this, because what I'm doing is, okay, by the way, Maya, you don't have to do the Maya editing tools. It's just automatically right here. So go ahead and just drag out a box. But anyway, with this, okay, I would recommend this because that way we still have some depth. I mean, you could shell it, but I just do it this way. So anyway, now that I have that, the controls are exactly the same. Q, W, E, R. Q, select. W, move. E, rotate. R, scale. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of leave it there. Okay, so the first thing you want to do with this is you kind of want to get your safe frames camera. So we know we want, or at least I know I want, I want a top view. I know I want that. And then I want some 3D depth to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control C, and then I'll make a camera right where I'm in place. So press P to go into perspective. I'm going to go kind of quick here because there's a lot to cover. So if I press C again, this is the camera. So if I press P to get out of that to go into perspective, you can see how it's changing over here. I'm going to go ahead and move it like that. Click just the camera, move it kind of like that, move it like that. There you go. So now you see how there's like a little bit of perspective here, like the lines are the grid lines are kind of like that. Okay, so then go ahead and press P to get out of that perspective. So now what we're gonna do is go ahead and, okay, so we have this. So right click and then go to convert to and then edit with poly. That's how you get into this kind of familiar looking thing over here. It's your editable poly, I guess, window. So anyway, what we're going to do is I would go ahead and connect all these. So click all the, just select all those lines by clicking this line segment or edge segment tool. And then click connect, not the box, the settings over here, and then just bump that up to like, not that much. Like 14 should be good. Yeah. Okay, now what we're going to do is okay, so there's NURMs in this, which is what we do in Maya. There's Turbo Smooth and Max, which does kind of the exact same thing, but not kind of the exact same thing. Okay, so it still makes 1 to 4 of all of them, but this one, it's more, it's called a mesh smooth, but it's less for being defined by the object and just saying smooth it via calculations. I think that's the best way I could put it. It's really kind of hard to explain the difference. You'd have to work with it and visually see what's going on. NURMS typically has less polygons, even though they do the 4 subdividing. I'm not really exactly too sure why, but I do know that's kind of how it works. And then there's essentially, like I said, there's this, which is more like the Maya one, and then there's this, which is more like that. I mean, I'm almost tempted to just use NURMS because I'm so used to Maya, but anyway, enough ranting about that. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is go ahead and select these polygons, and let's just see if we can get the idea that we want without having to turbo smooth or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this, and then instead of B, which is normally a soft selection, that's bottom. So go back into perspective, and then here's where we're at. Okay. If we have this, right? Now, in order to do soft selection, you have to click this button over here. It's called soft selection. And what it does is the exact same thing that we did in mine. It just automatically pulls the points via influence, and then you drag out this bar, little bar right here, and then there's a fall off / pinch and bubble. Now, I only use like fall off, and I rarely use pinch. So I'm just gonna go and say that, okay? Now we can go ahead and turn. Okay. Turn up the fall off like that. Okay, that way we have kind of like a smoother type thing. Now the whole point is we want these two to be the ones that are lifted up the most. Okay. And I probably don't. So, okay, that, well, is it still being self-selected? Yes. Okay, so like do something like that. Just kind of rotate these. And the whole point is we're trying to get this fan thing. And then, I mean, we'll like actually hash it out just a little bit more. That's not cool, so we'll bring that down. Like I said, we're just smoothing these out. This is only going to take a second, so just kind of like move it to where you think it looks clean. Okay, see how it's doing that? Means there's one of these is wrong, so I'm pretty sure that one's wrong. See, yeah. So we just gotta move all these up. Okay. So now that we got this, and it's kind of, I mean, like I said, you gotta like really kind of tweak it. Make sure it works for you. So these are just excess. So I'm just gonna go ahead and delete them. Look at that. Take this. Press cap if you do delete it with the border tool. What that does is it automatically closes this. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is okay. So we have this tool, right? And we kind of want to soften it up, so go ahead and apply norms to it. And the problem is, if you immediately see, is that okay, even though we have this fan, it's kind of like smoothed up, and I realize it's like a little bit, you know, bumpy at the moment. So I mean, we can go back in and do a little bit more if you so desire. But there we go. So anyway, what we're gonna do to fix this though is there we go. Click all these, connect. Don't want that many too. And then take these and just kind of push them out like that. 94. Because in here it's percentages. In mine it's just distance. So or with like, because I know I do 1.25, which is like, I guess a percentage, but not really. So anyway, like I said, just kind of, you can tweak on that as much as you want, but in the end it probably won't be all too important. It's just like this. And then, okay, then just take these soft sections and turn up the fall off again, like this, just oop. And then, okay, in this one, I know it's gonna be a little bit hard to move it around because you might not be used to it. So, what I would recommend doing, okay, so this one, and it's weird for my hands too. So Alt, unselects. control adds. Okay. Anyway, go ahead and move those up like that. Here. More. There we go. Okay. And choose to clean it up a little bit more. There will be a point in this, I promise. It's not just we're playing with this the entire time. Okay. So there. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're going to go ahead and what's that? We're gonna go ahead and copy these. So first thing I would do is I would go ahead and go over here to the hierarchy tool, expect pivot only, move that pivot like right here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shift. Okay, so see how this is too like big? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these, soft selection, okay, and we're going to do this. We're just gonna scale these two ones inward. Okay. So go back to the pivot tool. Okay. And you see how it kinda like unlets itself? So another thing that we can do real quick is if we effect pivot tool only again, push it back, what we can do is we can take it like this and rotate it kinda like upwards like that. Okay. And then take the pivot tool again, move it out here. Okay. Shift, pull, some like go. Let's go and go, because these when you shift, it's copying. So when you clone it, let's go like maybe not 30. Maybe like I don't know what I'm doing. Like 12. Okay. So we need a little bit more. So be like 18. There we go. So now we're getting some overlappage. So like, okay, I think it's the nearest one. So like that. There you go. So this is kind of what we get. Now we want to shift and drag under. Okay. Or shift and drag and rotate a little bit more. And then we kind of want to pull it underneath. Well, no, hold on. No, that'd be pretty good. Especially, let's see how it looks on our camera. Let's go ahead and select all of them, moving back into camera range. Okay. Okay, light will be able to escape out of here. That's the whole point. So, the only problem is this is a little bit too... Let's go like something like that. Okay. Now see how it makes this like this jagged edge? We're gonna blur that in like Photoshop or something, okay? But anyway, now that we're able to like really kind of see what we're messing with here, go ahead and drag out a sphere too. Like I said, this is gonna be so super easy to make. Like it's gonna be more about the lighting rendering. So I'm gonna drag that right in the middle and then push it up. Take go to perspective again, so that way you're not messing with yourself up. And then just push it right up there, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, this is already smooth, so I'm just gonna not even bother it. Take this, go to editable poly. Okay. Take this. Go ahead and delete those. Take these. And let's go and do the soft selection. And get like that kind of look, like the blue down the fourth one. Okay. Turn down the fall off to like where the only that one, like that. That. Okay. And then take these on the bottom, just like doesn't matter. Well, I suppose if we want to be super clean about it. You can just select all these vertices down here, and then just kind of like that. We want to get this out, so something like that. Okay. Go back to your camera. Now you have this. Okay. So the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna shell this thing. That way it has an actual. Cause okay, on the inside. Okay. If I were to turn off my shell, that was Shift Q is how you render. It's just a black hole because the UVs are not blocking anything. Now if I turn on my shell, there's something there now again. Okay. Now you're gonna have to play around with the shapes. So this is if I press Shift F, that goes to save frames. That's what you're rendering in this. That is one of the cool perks about my Max Meme. So anyway, we're gonna get to that in a bit. I just want to make all the shapes real quick. So like now like this, okay. P. Scale it down. Scale it up. Okay, so on my screen it looks pretty good. Now I know I want to do a 19 by 20 render, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I would recommend. Okay, so rendering. Let's go and get into that real quick. So click over here on the rendering tab and then render setup. Okay, output size down here to custom. Go HGTV 1920 by 1080. Click this button right here, and that's how you get this. Whatever. Now my computer's a little bit fast, so I should render this out pretty quickly. That's automatically bumping up all the resolution and stuff like that. So anyway, but I know that's not going to be correct just because it's mine. So, or it's not mine. I mean, it is not in the save frames. So take all these. Move over, we want to move them just with our camera. Okay, right now we're selecting stuff with the camera, so give me one second. Press P, take out that, don't want that, do you want ones? Okay, so now move that over. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reselect mine just because it's being weird. Deselect that by holding down Alt. There we go. So once again, I'm gonna get my save frames, which is like this. Okay, it's kind of like right in the middle. Just make sure double check. So yeah. Now, once again, I'm not okay with the size. I want to be bigger, so let's look at it. Okay. Cool. So that's pretty much what I want to do. And I mean, once you get into used to rendering, you'll understand that like I can just look at a render and tell if it's gonna be what I want whenever it's just rendering, just because I've had to wait for hours and hours and hours, and I really hate doing it. But anyway, so press materials. Let's show you something cool. So this is 3ds Max design. If you're using 3ds Max, you probably will have to just deal with standards, but you can pretty much do the same thing. But I'm in 3ds Max design, so I'm going to use the standard architecture one. And I'm going to go and put that in the tutorial title too, is 3ds Max design. And then like just make a note that if not, you have to work with the standard ones, which standard, they're just a little bit harder to control. So like so with this one, you don't have the shininess, you don't have any of that kind of stuff. You have to actually mess with the glossiness, the effects of those kind of things. I'll get into a little depth a little bit more here with this one. So normally I have a second monitor that I kind of just shove over here, but I know I have to show you guys this, so it's gonna be a little bit slower pace, but it's okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take one of these, hide unselected. So now I just have this piece right here. Okay, gonna go ahead and mark that with a material. Take this. I'm gonna go ahead and make mine like a black. See what it looks like. It's just black flat. Okay. Now what I want to do is there's user defined templates, and then you tweak them. Okay. Now black metal polished. Let's go what this looks like. Now we want to use a light to see like the true effect of these. So I'm gonna go ahead and over here to the light section, on the create tab, light section. Photometric, we can get into that later, but I'm not going to use that for this tutorial. But this is how you make cinematic lights really quick though. Okay, so this is how, just a simple basic omni-light. Okay, oh, you need shadows. So go into the modify tool, and oh, mine already turned on. Okay, I guess, over here. Okay, so we're trying to figure out how the properties kind of interact. Okay, so we are seeing how the properties interact, a little bit. So, just go and make a plane for yourself. We're going to delete it later. I'm going to change the color just because it's going to drive me nuts. So I'm going to make it to like this one's sort of gray as well by clicking over here on the properties tool. But anyway, let's go in and out again. Shift Q. Okay, we need a different angle. Like that. Okay. Go and let that render out. Shift Q. Shift Q we're gonna be using a lot. So, okay, see how it's too black? That's why I said don't use pure black. You're gonna use like almost like a gray, so you can get the desired look that you want. Because it's gonna be dark. That's why it's gonna automatically paint it black. So take this, bump it down to like that, and that should be like a dark gray. There we go. That's the dark gray that we wanted. Okay. So this is just one design. I actually have a much cooler and better design that I'm actually going to do instead of this. And you can completely choose to follow me. You could use that'll be like the easy one. This one's a little bit more in depth and harder. Yeah, I like that idea much better. Okay, cool. Anyway, in my head, I'm gonna go ahead and turn down this. Okay, the shininess of this metal does not need to be that high. So something more like that. So you see how this is kind of interpreting? So let's go ahead and put this down to like 40. That should be like the shininess of the material that we want. Okay. See how we're getting more pronounced lights like this? That's good, and it's kinda... Well, no. I think I could deal with that. Maybe to reduce it just a little bit more. Turn it to like 50. So let me show you this. So if it's like this, okay, it's gonna be super just like bouncing that light right off. Now if we turn it all the way up to 100, it's starting to do something weird. It all makes it super flat. See? So what we're gonna do is turn down this. I'm gonna go ahead and say 50, just the midway point, like I was saying before. So do that again. Check it out. Like it, cool. That's the one I'm gonna go with. So, and I can just, like I said, I just see up with basic shapes. So next thing I'm gonna do is, I don't want any transparency for the outer one, but I do want this to go back to a darker gray. So right there. Okay. Now, I mean, I would add more texture to this, but I don't think you guys have. Like, I don't think I can give you any type of industrial-esque textures and stuff like that. Like, that would be a whole tutorial entirely separate. So anyway, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go and mess with this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and go down to. So you don't really, no, I don't really go. What I'm gonna go ahead and say is the translucency and transparency. Yeah, let's keep that at that. We don't want. Okay, luminescence means that's gonna glow. The luminance from light. That means it'll glow only if the light's shined on it. Then the diffuse maps like how much color it is. So that's pretty much all we got here. Let's see. Do I want Actually, we could do something crazy. So let me see if I can get this to work the way I want it to. Oop, also does matter. So double click if you want to see in depth what I'm doing. But what I'm doing is I'm tiling this. I'm trying to get like lines and loops. Just make like one like super small. It's like these kind of wave patterns. So if I set the luminance pattern to that, or the shininess map, that, I wonder what that would look like. It's just another way to be more abstract. That would be really cool for water. I'm gonna use that. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and tile those down just a little bit more. Take this, get render again. So I want to get like, yeah, because I want metal, but I also want these kind of like weird waveform patterns right here. Right there. Want those weird lines. So maybe like half that, just like a little bit. There we go. So that's pretty cool to me. So that'll make it have like a weird biomechanical type of feel to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. You mean choose to do your own, but anyway, so what I'm gonna do now though is I'm gonna go ahead and go with that, like I said. Unhide all. Now I want all these to go away. Just go away. Go. Just get on your bike and go. Okay. So now if I choose, which one am I gonna use? Camera to here. So that. Okay. This camera to. So this one's back in the middle again. I mean, that's more like the middle. That. Okay. Anyway, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to go ahead and just make a box. And like as clean cut box as I can. So like something like this. Okay. And then I'm gonna go and scale this one down. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do, scale it down again. Rotate it like that. Now I'm just gonna shift drag. Rotate a little bit more. Rotate it that way. Shift drag. That way. Rotate more. Okay. Make it a little bit more 3D. Want more, so P R W. I'm listening at the hotkeys I'm pressing, just so you're not confused. Anyway, take this. Take this. This is the idea that was happening. So essentially, what I'm doing is now I gotta tighten these up. That. Okay. And the whole idea behind me doing this one is straights versus curves. If you remember our last tutorial. And it's to give more of a balanced look to the eye. Because we have a sphere in the middle. And you can do even more. I mean, you can do like add a smooth to all these and just pull them out, but I'm just gonna go with this one. Okay. Cool. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna press P so I can get on my perspective, or get into my perspective. Get all these, grab all of them. I'm gonna make a group, so Control G doesn't do in this one, so I'm gonna group it like this, okay? Okay, like fans one. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna adjust its control point, effect pivot only. Okay. Put it right in the other. And just like that. I like 64. Very close. 62. Not close enough. And you just kind of like, I just like ballpark every time, just see, because I mean the distance is what's off, I guess. That'll be fun. There's a little bit of overlapping slash interlace. But anyway, so now what I'm going to do is that texture that I just did. There's going to be one light in the scene, or there's going to be, sorry, 2 lights in the scene. So it's a very simple scene, it's just, we're trying to, where would I go ahead and, okay. So here's another thing I'm going to show you guys, is a line tool. This one. Just line right in the middle. XYZ, sure, whatever. Move it up directly. Okay, that's going to add the huest glow. So I'm going to go ahead and take this intensity, turn it to 0.1. 0.1. Okay. This one's just going to be an overall light. And I don't know whether I want shadows on or not. Probably not. Just, like I said, adding light. So like, maybe like this. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is move these up first of all. Ooh, that'd be cool. So like, that'll be our save frames. So anyway, so yeah, let's go and go with something like that. Okay, now the inside of this, this has baffled me for the longest time. So, it's gonna take some trial and error. So anyway, go and select all these, okay, and unselect that. Select that, and select that. Your camera wasn't selected. Okay. Material, textures, architecture, right? So now if we do this, this is kind of what we got so far. Okay. See how it looks kind of weird and crazy? That's what we like. Okay. You see how it's like all kind of rushing in, like there's a specific thing that I like it makes me think of, but kind of like a noise and like rushes into like a deep. But I mean, it's up to the artist's interpretation, like how you want it to look. So some people might want to actually even turn. I think I'm gonna do that. So, but we'll adjust both those lights. And I'll show you how. Okay, this part's the hardest thing that like getting it right and make sure you do all the key combinations that you need to do is hard. Okay, so we want this one to be glass. We want this one to be the same material as that. So let's go ahead and assign that to that. Okay. But we want this to be a different one. We want this to be like a red glass. Okay. Standard red. Or actually, I want mine green. I want it green. I think that look cool. Yeah. Okay. So now what we want to do is I'm gonna make this. Oh, that's a standard level. Architectural. Standard green. Okay. Now I want this to be a glass. Translucent glass. So let's go and see how it looks. Not glass enough. So turn down. Turn up the transparency. Turn up the transiency to like 90 or so. Now let's try. So we're kind of getting a transparent look, as you can see through that like little ball right there. So transparency, let's turn it up a little bit more. Something like that. So 80. There we go. Now you can really see that ball. So it's like this, the light coming through. So now, okay, the whole point of this is we want to put a light inside the middle there. So let's go ahead and Omni. And then do our line tool. That's a quick one. Okay, so now we align it to the sphere and it's directly inside that sphere. So we want to make sure the light's coming through. And you can kind of see it, but not quite. So we need to mess with this first. Let's make sure this isn't okay. So we need to put this at like 1. So let's line up a little bit more. Now we're gonna do some crazy. So now we're gonna do. Okay, go down to. Give me 1 second to find it. Atmosphere and effects. Add volume light. So make it like absolutely insane. Now what we want to do is we want to use a decay. We want to do inverse. Okay. And then something like right down to that first alluvial fan right there. Way too bright. Okay. Turn down, it's like that. And green. And you have to play with these a lot because they're lights and they I got green goop. So I'll have to go and start a near attenuation or far attenuation. So take that, the end is down here. Right, this is the near attenuation, right at the end of the sphere. Far attenuation is like. It's like midway of the fan, or like the like back here too. Your green one. So like, like that. And then like the start will be that. Okay. There we go. Look at that. Okay. So now that we got that, we want a second light in there. Oh man, I'm so happy this is working. Cool. So that we want a second light in there that's just even crazier. Okay. So Omni light. Put it right there. Okay. This one's gonna be our normal light. So the other one's I'm gonna go and name this one. But the other one's Omni 2, so I'll just name that for myself. This one we don't want any atmospheric effects. Okay. We just want to bump this up. Okay. Add more light. Go. Okay. So right now it's shooting out all different directions. This way we have no flavor to it. So we're going to add some more flavor to it. So we're going to do near attenuation. Okay. And we're essentially going to do the exact same thing. Like make it like this. Okay. And the inverse. Set that out to the first alluvial fan back there. You can see those lines right here. Okay. Now alluvial fan, use start, like just pretty much go ahead and put that down more, like right in there. It's because this is probably where our ball is. So I put that right there. Put this on the first start of the far attenuation. Put this like halfway, like right on that green line, okay? Or right on that gray line. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. So this one, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's probably this part right here. So let's turn this down to like a 50. Let's turn this up to like a 90. See how that works out. Probably the material. That's what it was. Yeah, it was the material. Okay, cool. So, okay. So materials, lights, everything else. They all have a reason. Oh, and we forgot to say. I'm so sorry for being a bad influence. Let's go ahead and say it. But so, do you see where I'm getting at though? That we have this dark inner circle. We have this light outer trim circle. We have this light inner circle. We have this. Okay, lighting is how I do it. This is how I make every piece I ever make look ridiculously. What's the word? Better than it should look. So anyway, and now I'm gonna use like the back overlay, the glow pattern right here. Okay, cool. Now, I don't know, since I have that, let's go ahead and see how this kind of looks. So I'm glad that works now. So, that's kind of what we got right now. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and zoom in P. Just gonna push it inwards like that. Cool. So you kind of have this like shimmering glare. Don't know if I want that to be. I think I'll just turn it like a slight green. So I'll fix that. Yeah, that'll go work. Okay, cool. So that's kind of how you fake with lights too. You can paint, literally I'm painting with light in my 3D rendering program. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and do this and then close. Cool. So now we need one last piece to make this all correct. So this one I'm gonna do a target spot, or I want a spotlight, yeah, so target spot. So take it like this. Okay. And we want to align that part with the sphere as always. Okay. So target spot, and then just drag one out. Okay. Now we want to drag it down. Do the same thing with the sphere, but we don't want it in the Z position, okay? That way it'll turn off and it'll just scoot right over. Okay? It's like that. Now let's go and mess with this light. So here's what we got so far with that one. So what we want is we want light blasting through the bottom. So let's go ahead and start messing with that. Let's go ahead and make that like, let's go ahead and make that a solid green, okay? And then let's go ahead and put that back down for you. Let's go ahead and bump that up to like a 9, because we want exploding rays of light coming through those panels. Is what we want. We are not getting that. Well, we can go ahead and render out. Let's see. Okay, so for this example, I'm going to go ahead and recommend you turn off HDTV, just so you can get quicker renders. So I'm going to go to custom, just like that. So it's a little bit tinier, but you get it faster. That's the whole point. What are those yellow dots? We shall see. I wonder how many passes these do. Okay, so I can already tell I'm not liking what I'm seeing. So I don't have, first of all, I can't see the top. That's the first problem. So I'll probably have to put a spotlight on top. Second thing is, I want to change the material of that. So, I'm going to go ahead and make another one like this, okay, like we had. And then I'm going to just turn this one to be black. Like that, okay. I'm going to go ahead and make that one. Oop. I think I messed with it. Worried. Oh, okay, we're good. So now let's see how that looks. Hopefully that cleaned it up a little bit. Kind of looked like it did, but we'll see. Anyway. So now what I want to do is I want to take another one directly like this and just shift and drag this one up. Oop, cancel. Go ahead and alt out of all that. We want just this. And oh, there we go. And then just drag it up. Probably about like the same thing right here. And this one will turn to like a white. These all changing? No. Just want to make sure they don't instance. I don't think I pressed instance, but. So turn this one on to like 0.5. pull that out to like there. Go ahead and turn that one to white. Five. So that way we can just kind of see. Okay, one of these are instants. We can't have that. So okay, none of them are instants. So I'm just gonna bump that up high. And let's go ahead and add a volume light to this one too. So atmosphere and effects, add volume light on that one, on the bottom one. But the top one, let's go ahead and keep messing with that. Ooh, and we blew it out. Okay, hold on. So this one, go down, back down to the bottom one real quick. I jumped around, I'm sorry. But now this one we're gonna use near attenuation. And yeah, that'll be, let's go ahead and put like midway. So like right there. Now far attenuation, we're gonna start as always right there. Okay. And the end we're gonna put just a little bit past, like right there. Right, probably like right at the top of the ball. Okay, so like that. But we want the angle to go up. Let's go and say not targeted. Directional. Oh, spotlight parameters. Here we go. And then I'm gonna go ahead and say the hotspot slash beam is like that. That's what I'm gonna do. Okay. Now let's try and mess with that. Intensity is too high. Let's see. Let's just see how it renders out. Hopefully it did what I wanted it to do. Actually, let's go and open up these fans a little bit. That's probably gonna help out as well. Alt out of that. Alt out all that. Okay. Now we're gonna do a command C. Now we're gonna rotate. And we're going to change this to loco. Okay. And that should that would be a cool animation. I'm going to keep that in mind. Okay. So P. We're just gonna open them up. Oh, they're all in groups. So groups, ungroup. Open them up like that. There we go, now we got some work going through. Oh my goodness. Now we are getting what I kind of wanted. Something like that. I still haven't saved. Okay. As soon as this renders over, I'm gonna save. Okay, welcome back. So this is where I'm at right now. This is pretty much the idea that you can get from this. So I know it's yellow, so that's the only thing I need to realize, but I see what's going on now, and I can see it. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to turn my cellular map down like a fourth, so maybe like 3. Okay. Take a look at that. Still kind of, yeah. Anyway, Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this one, and I think it's just too high, so I think I'm gonna put like 10, and then see what that looks like. Yeah, so it's more green now. Take it down just a little more, so it's 6. It's cool. That's the green that we want, Ronnie. Now I'm going fast because we gotta make good time. So like pull this down to inverse to where, or pull this inverse up to like there. That's where the decay goes. Okay. Starting to get some cool patterns. Okay. Okay, see on the green, it's like this. Right here it's yellow. So we want to fix that. So it's like, bring it down just a hair more, it's like 3. Actually probably like 2. Probably 2 is fine. So go ahead and shift click again. There should be less light over here, which there is, so that's good. But the whole point is we want those pixels right there to not be that stunned. So bad. Okay, got a few more. So 1.5. I'm gonna save. Save desktop. And then light rendering. Light abstract. Okay. Okay. Let's go and check again one more time. Just a little bit more. Just one. I didn't want to go 1, but we'll see. Let's go 1. Rendering, if you haven't noticed, is a lot of waiting, so that kind of happens. Cool. Okay, it worked. Alright, cool. So, the last thing finally want to do is I have illumination over the top. I have that. Okay. So this last one's insane if I want to do it, but I kind of want to do it. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, it would be much easier to just Photoshop this, but I want to help you guys out here. So the last thing I want to do is I want to make a cool graphic with what's called a torus knot. So standard, go to standard primitives and go down to extender primitives and then torus knot. So now like something like this, okay? Just one of those, like right there. Scale it down so it kind of fits still. Okay. Pull it up. Up. Okay. Now we want to put on like this. Okay. We want to build another one of those, right? We want the transparency to go up to 95. We want the shininess to go to like 80. We want to put the cellular on the shininess map. I mean, that probably defeated the purpose, but now now let's see what we got here. Okay. This one I know is gonna take forever to render. So let's see if we can go into the basic shapes. If not, we'll go take a break. Okay, we want more weird shapes. So, I think I need to turn down No, keep that. Let's go and go like 98 for this though. Then. There we go. Now it's like purely about the light type part of this. But this one, let's go and change this glass material to like a dark green. Let's go. No, that's too crazy. Because I wanted almost wanted black. Yeah, let's go and turn it black. I want black. So let's go and do black. Well, we still want that shape, so let's make sure we got that. Cool, we do got that shape. Yeah, and the green light will just paint it, so. Okay, I think that's gonna look super dope. So I'm gonna walk away and let this render, and when we come back, you'll be able to see that, and then hopefully that'll be the final product, and then we can go into what's called ambient occlusion. And then I told you guys we were gonna break something, so we are gonna show you how to break it. Now we're gonna save before then, and I highly suggest you do that. But it looked like this kind of turned out pretty cool. So let's go ahead and, like I said, let it finish rendering, and then I'll be right back. Okay, and we're back, and okay, so now we've gotten this, and I already rendered up the other one too, so now we're going to go, and the way I did this was, as I said this before, you might want to turn the inventory to inventory rather than the default scan line. Anyway, I did an ambient occlusion one, but I'll explain that one in the next tutorial, but that way, I'll go and do it now. So the way you do it is, so for example this box right here, I made it out in the middle of nowhere. You just need, because you have to have it in the scene, you bring over what's called an ambient occlusion, which is this right here, or this right here, and then you attach it to a standard. So you'll just type ambient in the default material map browser, like I said, press M, and you pull it out. Then you attach it to this, to a standard. I bumped the samples up to 256. You don't have to. If you bump it up too high, you'll crash it. So anyway, without further ado, you'll go to your setup and then processing and then material override, and you'll just attach a material right there. So anyway, I'm going to show you how this looks like. So give me 1 second. So pull it into Photoshop. And I'm going to go ahead and pull those in. So I literally just drag them on. Give me 1 second. Okay. And then drag on the ambient occlusion, which is this. It's more about lighting, and it's actually giving me vertigo. So, but anyway, go ahead and press OK. Now it'll always be like 0.14 off. So you'll do something like that. So it's 0.14, and then you just put it there. Now what you do is you'll do overlay, and so now you get this. So here's before, here's after. Before, after. It adds more vibrance, more interlace, I guess. Now you see right there, there's like, I want to say like just null. So what we're gonna do is, oh yeah, I can easily fix that. Is just new layer. Put the layers up here, and then just type background. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our brush, just take it to like 500, or well, huge, and then we're going to do this like that. and then just kind of like drag it over in case you got the background, because I save mine as a JPG. But anyway, there you go. So now it looks like it's creeping through. So now what we want to do is we want to adjust the curves. I mean, this one may not have to. You can also adjust the opacity, see if it works well, but mine's just perfect at 100% because it's so dark. So anyway, now we're gonna do curves. Just give me 1 second. I'm just gonna add it over here, and then layer style or new adjustment layer curves. Okay, and then just kind of adjust it like that. I'm okay with like right there, probably. And then like so you can see the darks. Then we're going to like the negatives, so I'm gonna go and skip them. And then there we go. Then I'll go ahead and save that out as, and then save it out as 3D abstract final. Okay. And then, oop, I saved it as a Photoshop file. PG, okay, save. And there we go. So that's how you do that. And like I said before, if you guys need help with anything, let me know. If you would like to see a different type of tutorial, let me know. And that should be in the tutorial there. Alright, thank you and have a good day.